I'm Leonard Riggs, and welcome back to my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. This is the season premiere of my third season, and I'm glad to be back. What I'm going to talk about today is the month of November. I'll explain further when I return from this little break. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. I'm Leonard Riggs, and welcome back. This is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears, and this is my season premiere. Of course, like I said, I took a month off to concentrate on the events of Halloween, and now that that's over, I've got more time to do my podcast. I love doing my Halloween film festival every year. I talked about that in my last podcast. It's something I look forward to, and I actually plan it all year. So, it's already started planning for next year. I also do a Christmas one. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do 25 Days of Christmas or the 12 Days of Christmas because the 25 Days of Christmas was kind of daunting, and trying to figure out 25 good films to watch at Christmas time. There's not a lot of really good films at Christmas that are Christmassy. Someone said, we'll have a Hallmark channel, and I don't like those kind of silly movies. I'm sorry if you do, that's great. All the more power to you. I'm just not my cup of tea. November is kind of a transitional month in the holidays. Thanksgiving isn't, how can I put it? It's not like there's Christmas. It's not like Christmas where there's Christmas songs. Not a lot of Thanksgiving songs. The only one I can think of is Over the River and Through the Woods. Not a lot of not a lot of Thanksgiving TV specials, other than maybe a Charlie Brown Christmas. The only other one I can think of is there was a series of movies in the 70s, the early 70s, that featured a character named Addie. And one of them was A House Without a Christmas Tree, but they did a Thanksgiving special as well called The Thanksgiving Promise, where Addie befriended an grouchy old man yet, who was an arch enemy of her dad's, but she somehow felt sorry for him and brought him Thanksgiving dinner and befriended him, and he had a horse, and he let her ride it, and in the end he passed away and left her his horse. It's a really sweet film. I think you can find that on DVD on Amazon. It's paired with another special in the same series called Easter Promise, I think, or Addie and the Queen of Hearts. There's 4 films. There's a Christmas special, a Thanksgiving special, an Easter special, and a Valentine special. I can't remember which one. I think A House Without a Christmas Tree and The Thanksgiving Promise are paired, and I think Addie and the Thief of Hearts and The Easter Promise are paired together. So actually buy both of them and show them to your kids. They're really good specials. That's a really good series of movies. I love that whole storyline with the little girl that plays Addie. I cannot think of her name. Lisa something or another. And Jason Robards plays the father, and Mildred Knapwick plays the grandmother. Very, very good movies. Very, very nice way to watch on Halloween. Watch on Thanksgiving. Excuse me. Other than that, there might be a movie here or there. I'm sure there's movies about the Pilgrims. I honestly can't think of any. I've just never really celebrated Thanksgiving as a month holiday. It's just a day in the month of November to me. Thanksgiving this year falls on what would have been my parents' I have to look here. 66 wedding anniversary. They would have been married 66 years this year. That's really kind of, I don't know, melancholy for me. My dad's been gone since 2016, and I feel like my mom's waiting to be reunited with him. It's something to think about. November has a little bit of sadness. I had some deaths in the family at Thanksgiving time that I'll never forget. I think every month's that way, though. There's always a little bit of sadness along with the happiness. But a lot of people get really angry about people decorating for Christmas in November. I think I'm going to take a break and I'm going to talk about that a little bit and how I feel about it. I'll be right back. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is From My Head to Your Ears. I'm Leonard Riggs, and welcome back to my podcast, the season premiere of my third season, From My Head to Your Ears. And today I'm talking about the month of November. I was talking about TV specials and music and what have you that are available for Thanksgiving, and there's just not a lot. But what November is to a lot of people is just a transitional month, like I said, and they choose to decorate for Christmas right after Halloween. That's fine. If you want to do that, all the more power to you. A lot of people throw a fit because people are doing that, and I get it. It's cheers up the house. If you're kind of down, it just kind of cheers everything up. A lot of people think Christmas is just stressful, and they hate it. And I don't mean that I mean that in a literal sense. They just hate the whole holiday. They hate the music. I don't get it myself because I love Christmas and I love Christmas music. I've done podcasts on that in the past. But I don't get why people get so angry at what people do in their own lives. It's just such a waste of bad energy. Let people do what they want if it doesn't hurt anything. Just mind your own business is the way I feel. If I want to put my Christmas tree up in July, I will. And I don't know why you want to just be angry about that. I don't get the whole I hate Christmas movement. It's I think it's been created in the media. I don't understand why people don't like something that is just there to celebrate a joyful time, the birth of Christ and what have you. I've talked about that. All these carols have been passed along for centuries, and in modern music, some of these songs are almost a century years old. So what's the big deal? I don't know. I can't tell you why you wouldn't like it, because I don't get that frame of mind. I love it. I love this time of year. And like I said, November's not exactly there's no Thanksgiving season. It's just a Thanksgiving day and a day to get together with your family. I personally do not get together with my family anymore because of my mom, but I do see family during that holiday. I think something that kind of ruined this time of year is Black Friday. I never cared for that. Now that annoys me, the retail thing. The whole retail side of the holiday gets on my nerves. And I think that's what a lot of people get upset about. It's a hardship on your finances, and it's kind of nerve-wracking. But don't we all pull through somehow, some way? I mean, a lot of people make it so. What the movie Jingle All the Way, where isn't that the one where Arnold Schwarzenegger is trying to get the doll for his kid, and he's going through these great extremes? And I thought, isn't that the worst side of the holiday season? That trying to please your kid with some want that they had that they probably won't even care about in a month. That's not what Christmas and the holiday season is about, but okay, whatever. Would I have been disappointed if I hadn't got my Mego Star Trek action figures in 1976 that I desperately wanted? Well, yeah, I would have, but I would have loved anything my parents gave me, and I would have loved Christmas dinner and my grandma being over and all that stuff. So it's all about the season, and Thanksgiving is a great time to get together with family, and it's a day off for a lot of people. Not for me and my job, but I will be working on Thanksgiving as usual, but I get home and I I prepare a great meal. I enjoy trying to plan what I'm going to have for Thanksgiving. My mom's kind of limited on what she can have, so I have to. There for a long time, I could make us both something. Now I have to kind of make her softer foods and things she can chew. So I kind of have an idea what I'm going to do. And since I work, I try to make things that are easy to make, food-wise. But Thanksgiving is such a food holiday, and there for the longest time, I began to enjoy it because all I did was show up. I didn't really do anything for the holiday. My mom cooked the meal. I showed up and ate. I didn't do dishes, and then I took a nap afterwards. Usually back in the day, I worked midnight shifts, so I'd have to go to bed after the meal so I could get up and go to work on Thanksgiving night. I used to hate that, by the way. I'm on day shifts now, so that's a little different. Just November is it's just a transitional month between Halloween and Thanksgiving, I think. But just don't worry about what your neighbor's doing. If you don't want to celebrate, decorate, don't do it. Just don't participate. Quit griping. Life is too short. Quit being negative. I'm going to take a short break and I'll be right back with some more of this episode of my podcast, From Your Head. No, from your head to my ears? No. Reverse that. Strike it. From my head to your ears. Who am I again? Oh yeah, Leonard Riggs. I'll be right back. I'm Leonard Riggs, and welcome back to my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. And I want to make a correction. The TV movie that I was talking about earlier is not A Thanksgiving Promise. That's actually a movie with Lloyd Bridges from many years ago. You can also check that out on YouTube or what have you. But the movie I'm referring to is A Thanksgiving Treasure. And the young lady that plays Addie is named Lisa Lucas, along with Jason Robards as her father and Mildred Natwick as her mother. Sorry for the confusion. I was a little confused myself. I swear in my old age I'm forgetting things that I used to know by heart, but hey, it happens. I'm 56 years old. I think senility is setting in. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the Thanksgiving holiday, so I looked it up on Wikipedia, and what I found out was, and it was kind of interesting, I'm going to read directly from Wikipedia here. So, Thanksgiving has been celebrated nationally on and off since 1789 with a proclamation by President George Washington after a request by Congress. Thomas Jefferson chose not to observe the holiday, and its celebration was intermittent until Abraham Lincoln in 1863 proclaimed a national day of thanksgiving and praise to our beneficent Father who dwelleth in the heavens, calling on the American people to also, with humble penitence for our national perverseness and disobedience, fervently implore the interposition of the Almighty hand to heal the wounds of the nation. He declared it for the last Thursday in November. Ulysses S. Grant, on June 28, 1870, signed it into law. The Holidays Acts that made Thanksgiving a yearly appointed federal holiday in Washington, D.C. On January 6, 1885, an act by Congress made Thanksgiving and other federal holidays a paid holiday for all federal workers throughout the United States. Under President Roosevelt, the date was moved to 1 week earlier, observed between 1939 and 1941 amid controversy. From 1942 onwards, Thanksgiving, by an act of Congress, received a permanent observation date, the fourth Thursday in November, no longer at the discretion of the president. So that is the history of the Thanksgiving celebrations, and I didn't know a lot of that. I was interested to read that. I found it interesting, I should say. So we've been celebrating Thanksgiving for a long time, in other words, and thank God, because I'm proud of this country and the blessings we have had. We're still one of the greatest countries in the world. Little flag waving here, but I'm proud to be an American, as Lee Green would say. Flag wave. But no, I love my country. I just do. I love where I live. I love my Southern Illinois and my town of Christopher and all the people I know, friends I've met and everything else. So Thanksgiving is a day of thanks, and you should take a minute to be thankful for what you have, and not worry about what you don't have, and remember things that you used to have and be grateful that you had them in the first place. Boy, that was a mouthful, but that's true, you know. A lot of people become bitter because of loss, and they dwell on it, and to me, you shouldn't do that. You should be thankful for the experience. I lost my dad, what did I say, 7 years ago? Worst day of my life. I couldn't imagine life without him, but life has gone on. I've been dealing with my mom's Alzheimer's for years. But instead of going, oh, I lost my dad, I'm thankful for the great dad that I had, the wonderful times we had. I miss him dearly, but we all will go through these losses in our life. It isn't a punishment from God. It's just part of being alive. I don't curse my mom's Alzheimer's. It's a horrible disease. I curse the disease, but I've been given a time to care for her and spend time with her closely, and it's wonderful that way. Not to take from my other family members who can't spend time with her, but I do find this time with my mom wonderful, and my mom's adorable. So I have a lot to be thankful for. I have a roof over my head. I have a job that I don't hate. And I can podcast from my bed. You know, so definitely a lot to be thankful for this Thanksgiving season. And again, amazed at how long this holiday has been celebrated. Not as long as some people think the origins of the holiday were given back to the Pilgrims, always in my mind. But officially, Thanksgiving has been celebrated for less time than that, but still a long time, many centuries. So there's ways of celebrating Thanksgiving. If you don't have anybody, make yourself a little meal. You can go, our town has a Thanksgiving dinner where you can go up and eat with people and community members. Hey, go try that. You might make some new friends. You might get to sit by a veteran who's alone on the holiday that can tell you his war stories or whatever. You can learn a lot from older people. That's a good way to go up and spend time with them. Volunteer to help. Make it a tradition to give back to the community. If you don't have family, there's always something you can do to keep yourself going and make new traditions. Sometimes we have to, because life changes all the time. So, and that goes for everything. Quit being bitter. The world could end tomorrow, but don't sit around worrying about it. I guess you can prepare all you want, but what are you preparing for? The end of the world is the end of the world. It's just going to happen. There's not going to be anything to save up on, or it's just going to be the end. So don't think about that. Just think about what's in front of you and be thankful for the things God has given you and enjoy the heck out of them. I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to take a break and finish up the podcast. Boy, I couldn't think there for a minute. Having trouble all day today with that. I'll be right back. I'm Leonard Riggs. This is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. I'm Leonard Riggs, and I'm back with the final segment of From My Head to Your Ears. Thank you for listening. I love doing this podcast. I love that it's kind of catching on with listeners, and to all my new listeners, this is what my podcast is all about. Literally from what I think in my head to your ears, and hopefully you find it interesting, and hopefully I present it in a way that it's entertaining. I did forget about one thing about November. That was Veterans Day. I should be ashamed of myself. Veterans Day is celebrated here in the United States on, generally November 11th. That's also my grandma's birthday, by the way. But that's without saying. So don't forget your veterans this year, your grandpas and your uncles and your dads. Celebrate, and your moms and your aunts and your grandmas too, because a lot of women served in the military and currently do. I didn't mean to take away from them. But anyway, there's more to November than meets the eye, obviously. So put up Christmas lights if you want to. It's not hurting anybody. If that makes you feel better, that's great. Don't forget about Thanksgiving. Don't forget about the veterans. Enjoy what God has given you. Be thankful. Be thankful for what God has given you. Be thankful for your relatives and your children and your parents, and just remember that. Remember the time of giving thanks. And I'm going to wrap it up. And I'm Leonard Riggs. Thank you for listening to From My Head to Your Ears. And I'll be back next week with another episode. Thank you for listening. I love you all. Have a great week.